We'll begin with public communication. We reserve a 3-minute slot for anyone that wishes to speak on any particular subject. The Commissioner's Court is bound not to be able to answer. So I've got Amanda Fly that signed up to do that. Push the button on that.
Thank you. I'd like to speak about the agenda item number 5, which is the declaration of disaster. I believe with this invasion we are having from Mexico and into our country, it is a disaster. It is an invasion. We need to do something, and we need to think outside of the box. I believe this declaration is moving in the right direction. However, I have a problem with paragraph number 7 and paragraph number 8 on this declaration, where it says that all resources, basically to summarize it, it says that resources, that everything basically can be decided by one person, our county judge. I believe this is too important for one person to hold all of the power. I would like this part to be changed where that anything pertaining to monetary funds from the county and anything pertaining to duration or changes within this particular document be approved by the court. We are a county of very diverse people. We have many diverse opinions. We elect specific people within our area to represent us. And in a situation this important, the people deserve to be able to be heard, and they are heard through their commissioners. And any commissioner that thinks this is acceptable to give one person this power, you should all be ashamed. This must be changed before it's voted on. However, it's a very important piece of document, and we do need this document. It just needs to be fair to all the people. Thank you.
All right, we'll move on to our consent agenda on page 18.
Judge, I got one question on consent. Mary Ellen had trouble seeing how we vote or hearing how we vote because our backs are to her. She asked maybe if we could raise our hand on our vote. Would that be okay?
Well, that's fine. I wasn't aware of it. She didn't communicate that to me.
Okay. Thank you.
Page 18, Commissioner Bruin, $733.70. Motion to approve, please.
So moved, Judge.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
Motion carries. Page 20, Goliad Auto Parts, $381.01. Motion to approve, please.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
I abstain.
Page 21, Goliad Auto Parts Service, $316.90. Motion to approve, please.
So moved, Judge.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
I abstain.
Motion
I
carries.
never saw any hands in this whole deal, so.
Page 22, Highway Garage, $270. Need a motion to approve, please.
So move.
Second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
One abstention.
Motion carries. The remainder of the consent agenda, questions? If not, need a motion to approve that?
I'll entertain a motion to approve it.
Oh, I had one question on that. The survey on Lobby Hill Road and Auditorium,
Yes, sir.
what was that?
It was in the budget.
I know, but what did we survey? The road?
We surveyed the auditorium property to establish the boundaries,
Okay.
and we surveyed the property out across from the dump where Mr. Hill lives to determine if he indeed owned to the center of the road, and that was true and correct. And there's monuments in the middle of the road now to indicate that.
Okay. Thank you.
Any other questions?
No, sir.
I have a question. Do we have the minutes? Did the minutes show up? I didn't see them.
I haven't received any, no, sir. Need a motion to do the consent agenda, please.
I so moved already.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 2 weeks ago, we had a discussion about a stop sign in the Berkeley area and accepting a $5,000 check to from the District Attorney Forfeiture Fund. Need a motion to take that off the table, please.
I so make that motion.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. I'm going to have the sheriff come up because he's part of this deal that was made with the District Attorney's Office. He can explain to us what this stop sign's about.
Judge, members of the court, what we have is not really a stop sign. Y'all may remember many years ago, we used to have signs out in Berkeley that would flash your speed as you came through because of 55-mile-an-hour zone. What I've done was worked with TxDOT and the DA's office. I want to take some of the money that we were able to seize during our criminal investigation in Berkeley from last year, take that funding, and then put up new signs. TxDOT says that what has to happen is we have to get the pricing on everything. TxDOT will get the pricing for everything, tell us exactly where we have to buy it from. I will bring it to you as the court. We will enter into an MOU with TxDOT. We will purchase those items. TxDOT will put them up. And then the new signs, more technology, will actually send us data at the sheriff's office telling us what the traffic count is by hour, what hours that people are actually speeding through that area, gives us data to take action, actionable law enforcement measures instead of just randomly going out there. We can actually do some analytics. So that money will have to basically go and be paid towards that, and then some of that money will have to go towards TxDOT for some of the stuff they have to do. But we will actually enter to an MOU before we exchange any of that money. And once I get that finalized, I'll bring it here to the court, and we'll work that out with y'all.
Any questions for the sheriff?
Yes, sir, Judge. The 5,000 is going to purchase one or
No,
two?
it's both sides coming from both directions.
Okay.
And if there's additional costs that are related to that, that money is actually forfeiture money from the sheriff's office. There was a mistake that sent that money off to TxDOT. It wasn't supposed to go there. It was a miscommunication. That money technically is the sheriff's forfeiture fund. And so what will happen is we'll spend that money. Any money not spent by law, y'all will have to provide back into our forfeiture fund. But if there's additional funding, then I will take money out of forfeiture to cover any additional expenses so that there's no expense to the taxpayer, just a benefit to the people of Berkeley.
In the motoring public.
That's correct.
Okay.
My primary interest is the folks in Berkeley who have to pull out onto that highway and trying to slow this traffic down.
Any other questions for the sheriff?
Thank you,
Thank you.
gentlemen.
Thank you.
So I need a motion to approve accepting the $5,000 from district attorney's forfeiture cases to place flashing stop sign traffic light in Berkeley.
I'll make that motion.
Need a second, please?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 5, approve the continuation of declaration of local state disaster. I followed the template that was suggested by David Brooks. He's a renowned Texas County law attorney, actually wrote the book on it, as well as Jim Allison of Allison, Bass, and McGee. As the head of emergency management in this county, my position as Goliad County Judge, it's well within my purview to declare states of emergency. That's what I choose to do. We came here in an effort to get the commissioners to ratify this so that we can deal with this crisis that faces us. And that's what I'm asking you to do. Should you choose not to do it, then we'll go another avenue. This is straightforward. I'm here to include y'all. This happened incredibly fast. When we went down to Brackettville on Monday, and the declaration was done on a Wednesday. It was done quickly, and there's been a lot of legal expertise that has viewed this. So that's really all I have to say about it. I've filed 2 other declarations of disaster declarations in this county in my term, and this will be the 3rd one.
I'll make a motion that we approve this resolution.
I'd like to have some discussion. I'd like to ask the sheriff a couple of questions, if I may.
Absolutely, sir.
Yes, sir, Commissioner.
Yes, thank you, Sheriff. What are you going to use as a threshold to call in these additional resources?
Well, at this point in time, we're probably not going to call in immediately additional resources. We're in the process of going through and categorizing all the expenses that we have. I will be working tomorrow with some other sheriffs. We'll be writing a border security operational plan that we plan on funneling through our grant funds, which are Stone Garden and Border Star grant money. And so what we're going to do at this point in time, until the state decides that they're going to actually give us some resources, we're going to come together with the surrounding sheriff's offices and work together in order to try to mitigate this problem. Because for us, it's absorbing an extreme amount of time for our personnel, both on day and night shift right now. And so until the state decides what they're going to do with resources, we're all going to come together. Because as far as I can tell, right now, the governor's decision is to send everything to the border. Well, a whole bunch of highway patrolmen sitting up and down the highway watching people go by is not doing us a lot of good in Goliad, Texas. So we're hoping that after our meeting with the Attorney General tomorrow, that we'll be able to try to convince them to do something to actually provide some sort of resource allocation farther away from the Rio Grande, what our goal is. So it's all just going to depend, because it depends on what they decide to do with the law enforcement that they're sending on it right now.
Okay. Lost my train of thought. You said the funding, the sheriff's associations or the sheriff association has gotten together and going to do some kind of resolution or
Well,
some sort to
we're going to
take to
write
the-
an operations plan.
to take to the governor?
It's a border security operations plan that we're going to approve, and the first thing we're going to do is start using that through our grant funds that we currently have, so it doesn't come out of local tax dollars. And then, yes, we're going to push that up the chain and see if we can't get some action out of the governor's office themselves. Try to offset some of this once our Stone Garden and Border Star funding is utilized. So, and it's the Texas Sheriff's Regional Alliance. We're all coming together and meeting with the Attorney General's office tomorrow. Because right now, we're currently monitoring 9 different stash sites in Goliad County, the deputies are. And so, and that's growing. Today, we had fresh intelligence and activity on one of our sites. We had a new site discovered over the weekend, and we've actually had, since it was discovered on Friday, we've had additional activity at that site since Friday. They're actually bringing in supplies to this location here in Goliad and preparing it for a site similar to the one that we discovered a few weeks ago.
Okay. Thank you.
No problem.
Sheriff,
Anyone else?
yeah, I've got a question.
Yes, sir.
You know, the declaration is all well and good, but I'm not hearing you say that the Association of Sheriffs is not going to make a resolution to send to the governor.
Well, we're going to work on that. We're going to work on that tomorrow. First, I'm writing a border ops plan for the sheriffs. because I'm the only one that's done that before. And then when we meet tomorrow, that's one of the things we're going to discuss, is about sending something. Now, we're not a governing body. As sheriffs, we don't have that. That power is vested in the county judge. And so that's why the emergency declarations are filed, because the power for that under law is vested in the judge. And so that's why you see the process that you see here, because the sheriffs do not have the ability to put forward an actual declaration. I think I'm the only sheriff in the state who actually sent a request to the judge for declaration. It's not something that's normally done by your law enforcement under your executive branch.
I'm just thinking if 254 sheriffs in this state tell the governor, we got a problem in the form of a resolution, it's got to open his eyes.
Yeah, we're working to get a unified message, and that's what the declarations the declarations are probably going to be spreading here across the state, and that's the exact goal. What you're talking about is the exact goal with the declarations, and the sheriffs are jumping on that, but the main key thing for us was getting those declarations done by the judges so that the governor would take a little bit of attention and maybe put some action towards this. So,
How long do you think this will go on?
it's going to go on until the governor decides to shut down the highways coming in from Mexico and shut down everything and put the screws to the government in Mexico, or until the federal government does something, which I'm not going to hold my breath, because I believe I would pass out and die before they actually do something. So,
Tim, that's one of my concerns is with that paragraph 8, that this will go on until the judge just says it's not going to, he terminates it, and that could be years.
well, and that I doubt you'll wind up with a declaration of disaster for that long. I think the key is going to be getting the governor to do that, because what you see in that document is a norm for a declaration of disaster. It's not an uncommon thing, because, like I said, that power is vested in the judge. It's not in the sheriff or anybody else. It's in the judge. And that's why, I encourage the sheriffs to get with their judges, because we don't have that capacity. Now, will you see something come out of the Sheriff Association of Texas or the Texas Regional Sheriff's Alliance and the Border Sheriff's Alliance? You will probably see some letters come out, but we can't actually pass formal government documents. Only the judge has the capacity for that. We just do not. But you'll see us becoming more and more vocal as this goes on. So, I mean, it's a process that we're trying to go through in order to ensure that something gets done. We have to get the attention of the state, because we have no faith that the federal government is going to do anything. And every day that I spend on this, which lately has been 7 days a week, I learn more and more, and I thought I knew a lot, but every time I think I know a lot, they keep changing the rules on us from the federal side, and it's something that we're just going to have to keep pushing on, because if the state does nothing, then there will be nothing done. Anything further, sir? Any of y'all?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so I think Amanda hit it on the 8th paragraph. I know the judge does the original 7-day deal, and then it's brought to us to ratify or to extend. I would like that 8th paragraph changed from county judge to commissioner's court on both places. And I would like to see maybe come back in 30 days and go back through this and
All those timelines are well beyond my legal comprehension of declaration of disaster. I will tell you that my meetings, with the attorneys, and I went and got with the judge, and we met, and that's exactly how they laid it out, how the attorneys laid it out to be done right there. So that's something you'll have to take up. I mean, no offense to anybody, but that's something you'll have to take up with the judge, because that power is vested in him. As a sheriff, I don't have neither the knowledge nor the legal authority to issue declarations. Those are things that are beyond my legal capacity. So.
But you're saying like you're going to Attorney General tomorrow or something, and you're going to come back with more information.
I hope so.
And so, is there a problem with just making this for 30 days and then bringing it back to court? And
But that's in the purview of the
Let
judge.
me,
I
let
have
me
no,
interject.
I have no say.
Let me interject. What do you think would happen in 30 days, Commissioner?
Oh, I don't know.
Let me give you a few statistics. Last year, in the month of April, there were 3,200 contacts made by the Rio Grande sector of the Border Patrol in the month of April last year. We're not quite through with April yet, and they've already had 36,000 contacts in the month of April. There's nothing that's going to happen in the next 30 days. This is a problem that it's going to be with us a while. It's going to be with us a while. The sheriff's not at liberty to divulge everything that's going on in this county, but I will tell you that there's a lot going on. There is a lot going on. And it's just not going to end quickly. Yesterday, a group of illegals pretty much invaded the fire station in Uvalde, Texas, and demanded transportation, that they give them a pickup truck so they could leave. I'm pretty sure that's never happened in Uvalde, and it's very close. It's the same place it's always been. It's within 100 miles of the border. So you can put the stipulations you want to on it. If you choose not to do what I'm offering you the opportunity to do, then I'll just issue a new declaration every 7 days. It's just that simple. Authorities given to the county judge as the head of emergency management in counties throughout Texas. I'm exercising that. When I did the COVID, nothing. When I did the cold weather, nothing. Now, we can't change this. This is a county judge function. No more than I tell you what roads to pave. This is a county judge function. And I'm asking y'all to join in and be a part of this. That's what we're doing tonight. Sign up. Be a part of it. This doesn't give me some ordinary power that we're going to go out and buy tanks and surface-to-air missiles. He's in charge. He asked me to file an emergency resolution, which is exactly what I did. It doesn't give me any power. In fact, it gives me headaches. There's a lot to do here to manage this stuff. So I'm asking you, let's move forward with this. You'll be kept apprised. I mentioned it to Commissioner Edwards on Wednesday, what I was doing. And I've gotten no comments or questions from any of you. None. That much. Not one of you has contacted me. Not a one.
If I may interject real quick. I can't give you a timeline from my perspective on how things are going to go. All I know is it just keeps increasing, and it is absorbing a considerable amount of time. And right now, in order to try to save the county money, I was transporting illegal aliens myself in the middle of the night this weekend so that we didn't have to pay anybody overtime for it. So it just keeps going, and I know it's a burdensome expense, which is one of the reasons I asked the judge to file the declaration, because I know it's going to help us out from a reimbursement side. But I personally, from a law enforcement side, can't tell you how long this is going to go or what's going to happen. I just anticipate it getting worse as time goes on from the intelligence that I'm receiving from my contacts that deal with this on a daily basis. Our investigations are taking off. They're well beyond the scope of our capacity for manpower at the Goliad Sheriff's Office. I've had to call in additional resources and help to get some of this stuff moving. And so, it's one of those things that we're just going to have to see. We don't know where we're going. I've seen bad waves of illegal immigrants, illegal aliens coming in over the years, but I've never seen anything quite like this. This is something that my friends who've been in Border Patrol and Homeland Security for a very long time have told me that this is an unprecedented thing, regardless of what the media says. This is a phenomenal rise to the tune, like y'all saw in my letter, potentially 13 to 20 million illegals coming into the country in 1 year. That's a lot of people. So I wish I did have some more answers for you, but
And-
on that, I don't.
And there again, I'm not against this at all. I am not against it. But the things I have brought up, I have talked to several other county judges in our area, and not telling them my views, but they have received this also. There's been a lot of people, I guess, have received this document. And so I asked them what they would change. So, one of them was the 30 days. Let's re-enter it 30 days later. We'll probably redo it. I mean, most likely, right? 99.9% probably redo it. But we'll come back with more information, and more numbers and things like that, right?
And I'll be more than happy to provide y'all with what briefs I can on what's going on. It's just gonna, be one of those things that you'll have to be patient with me, because I go sometimes days without sitting at my computer at this point in time, just because the work that has to be done is pretty, time consuming. It takes a lot of travel as well.
And then to involve the Commissioners Court on effects until terminated by Commissioners Court, pursuit of this declaration, additional directives may be issued by the Commissioners Court at any time deemed necessary. So it just puts us all on the table to make these decisions. That's all in number 8. I'm just trying to make this, just like Amanda said, the people, they elected us to talk for them. The judge is the middle of the circle. But I had phone calls from people, please pass this. And then, we talked about some different things on it, and they did understand that. I got to bring up Hurricane Harvey. We all came together. We worked from several days before the hurricane. We sat and had meetings. We waited till the wind went down, and we started having meetings again. I think we hit a home run. A lot of people say we didn't, but I think we did. But we all came together with suggestions and questions and answers, and I just believe the whole Commissioners Court ought to be involved in this decision.
Yeah, and all that's between y'all and the judge. I will tell you that the day that I think that we no longer need this declaration, I will state so. So, but like I said, these matters are actually between y'all and the judge, and as the sheriff, I've got no purview in it. I mean, it's outside of my scope of legal authority. It just is.
But in other words, we're going to use this declaration until the governor declares a declaration. Isn't that correct?
I don't know if the governor's declaration causes ours to go away. That's something that we'd have to ask the attorney on. That I do not know. I've worked under a lot of declarations, but it just depends. I know sometimes the state comes in after us and declares something, but I don't know if that negates the one we have. Rob would probably know a lot more on that than I do, because I'm not sure from the legal perspective of how that does.
The purpose of this declaration is to have enough strength in numbers behind it to cause the governor to stop this invasion at the border. Catching people in Goliad County is not a good plan. It's not a good plan catching them in Brackettville. The plan is to stop them at the border.
But
As soon as that happens, then we'll be able to, all the counties will drop their declarations, I would imagine, and the state will be doing their job, which is to protect its citizens at the border. We entered by treaty to enter the United States, and the United States agreed to protect us. But it was left wide open. All the attorneys have looked at it. It was left wide open. If the federal government chooses not to do their job, the state absolutely has the right to do that job for them. So the purpose of this is to get as many counties as possible in one accord and have the governor do what's within his power to do. Nothing more. God, I hope that we get rid of this COVID stuff and the freeze is gone, I guess, and this newest one we're talking about tonight. You know, with all these declarations comes a tremendous amount of tracking finances and expenses, reporting to the proper authorities, seeking reimbursement. There is a lot of work that goes along with this. And every bit of that comes through my office in conjunction with the auditor's office.
And
I'm
don't you-
simply asking y'all to move forward. I don't know why it matters. It's my authority to do. The county judge is the one to do that. He declares emergency.
That's correct.
Okay, that's all I'm doing, and I'm saying, come on, guys, get in the wagon, let's go.
But
That's
don't,
all I'm doing. I'm not doing anything else. I'm not being a hero. I'm not trying to look important. I'm following his requests, and I'm doing what he asked me to do. I don't know what's going to happen 30 days from now. If you want a free guess from me, nothing. I don't expect any changes in the next 30 days or 60 days or 90 days. Because there might be some people in the federal government that want this. What we're seeing today. Not only that, coming from the background I come from, he can't tell. He doesn't even like telling me what's going on. He can't tell everybody. Not that you're not trustworthy, but he can't sit down and tell y'all all this. Loose lips sink ships. It puts his people at risk. It puts operations at risk. There's a lot of things that happen, and all of them are bad when a lot of people know about what's going on. I'm asking you to get in the wagon and let's roll. There's nothing underhanded. There's no schemes. This is just, we have to do this.
and there again, I'm not saying we're sitting in every meeting with y'all. What I'm saying is, won't this send a stronger message to Austin if they see that we all have a say-so on this going forward and the
Write a
questions
letter
that are
as a
asked?
commissioner's court, and everyone sign it and mail it to anyone that's got a mailbox up there. Mail it to your senators. Mail it to everyone. We're on board. We're all on one accord.
And when you talk about finances, so I've never heard any finances on COVID. So do we get paid for all the overtime hours that the EMS got? See, that's stuff that I want to know.
Okay.
So, no, I don't want to get into that.
All
now.
right. Well, let me tell you
I
something.
am just,
Because
I'm
you're
just-
asking, let me tell you, because everybody needs to know. If I can get this phone to stop doing email for a minute. Okay, I'll just give you the Reader's Digest first.
Hold on one second there, Judge. Anybody else have any questions for me?
no, sir.
No,
Thank you.
I appreciate
Okay.
it. Thank you, gentlemen.
Today, I can make the letter available to you, but it was made out to the county judges. It was a letter from the governor. And the Reader's Digest version is, I need y'all to start tracking all your expenses that are related to border security and let us know so that we can send an invoice to Washington, D.C., and they'll pay us back. We've probably talked about that enough. So that was today. There's a tremendous, no one knows. It's almost as bad as COVID. No one knows what the other hand is doing. They're fighting the war in our backyard as opposed to their backyard. But there's a tremendous amount of finances that come into this. Gas money, overtime, uniforms, fences, vehicle damage, you name it. Hopefully, the ones that were there the other night, Judge Myers from Lavaca County, it's $40,000 to get on the helicopter if you're hurt. It's $40,000. There's going to be some money that needs to be spent, and we are going to seek reimbursement. But it's going to be tremendously expensive. It's like indigent defense and Joanne Ybarra. Anybody that comes across and runs through a high game fence and hits a tree, they're indigent. And they're going to expect us to take care of it. Where's that money going to come from? It's going to come out of our pocket, and then hopefully we can get someone to reimburse us. This is a very touchy subject in the state of Austin, or the state of Texas, Austin, Texas. There's been a bunch of counties that have filed emergency declarations now. We filed them with the governor, attorney general, our senator, Ms. Colkhorst, our representative, Ms. Morrison, and TDEM, Texas Department of Emergency Management. You know what responses we've got back from any of those individuals thus far? All the counties that have filed emergency declarations? TDEM's job is to help counties and assist counties in emergency situations. When it clouds up and rains, code red starts going off. If there's a hurricane down in the Yucatan Peninsula, you start getting warnings. If it's going to get cold, if it's going to rain, they're there. We've got 32,000 people that have made contact with Border Patrol in the month of April on the Rio Grande, and we file a declaration because we're overwhelmed. Nothing. I'm asking you to get on board.
Judge, I don't think anybody up here is denying the fact that we have a problem. But when you say get on board, I'm willing to get on board, but I still think it ought to be a member of the court's decision, not one man's. We were all elected to serve, and I think we'd be derelict in our duties to pass this down to one person to do it.
It's the judge's job, sir. It doesn't enumerate Commissioner's Court, but I'm asking y'all to get in the wagon.
I'm going to get on the wagon, but I don't agree with it.
Well, then you need to change the law.
Here's something else. We don't know. This is a very unique situation. We have never been across. It's not like a hurricane that we know it's going to be over someday. There's no light at the end of this tunnel. And yet we're going to turn over our county until you decide you can terminate it. And that gives me time to think about.
Okay. I will terminate it when the sheriff of this county tells me that the crisis is over.
Why can't the sheriff tell all 5 of us that?
Because the power lies with the county judge to sign emergency declarations. The law does not say county judge and commissioner's court. I'm here to have you ratify it and get on board.
All right. If the court
Which
has
is the same thing that all the other county judges are doing. They're coming to their court saying, please help me through this.
If the court has the power to give you this power, if the commissioner's court, if we as a court have the power to designate you as in charge of this disaster, why don't we have the power to terminate it?
The state designates me, sir, as in charge of this disaster, not Commissioner's Court. The state of Texas does that.
I'd like to hear from our attorney.
Great.
I'd like to say something. The state of Texas designates the county judge as the emergency management person for the county, period. He can then appoint somebody to help him, but he is the emergency management person for this judge, and every judge of every county is the emergency management coordinator, period. So they're in charge of emergency management.
The law states under 418.108 of the Government Code, subparagraph B, the declaration of a local disaster, which our county judge has done, may not be continued or renewed for a period of more than 7 days, except with the consent of the governing body. If it is a county, it's Commissioner's Court. If it's a city, it's City Council. So his power is only good for 7 days.
Exactly.
That's not true, sir. I have the ability to reissue the declaration.
You do have the ability to read
Yes, sir.
declaration,
Yes,
and
sir.
it's only good for 7 days.
That's right. I can do it every 7 days until the end of my term. Is that correct? Is that correct?
I don't know the answer to
Okay,
that.
well, when you get it, come back and see me.
Where did you get your answer?
I got mine from David Brooks.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
I have one question of you.
Okay, sir.
In paragraph 7, it talks about you have the authority to use all lawful available resources, and I'm curious how you define all lawful available resources.
Okay.
How do you define that?
You want me to explain what you're reading on paragraph 7?
I know what I believe it to be, but I'm curious how you understand that to be.
As far as I see the lawful resources, I depend 100% on the sheriff of this county to make those decisions. He's the one that determines what resources he needs to enforce the laws of the state of Texas.
So how do you pay for those?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. I apologize.
How do you pay for those?
How do I plead for those?
Pay.
Pay. How do you pay for the resources the sheriff is asking for?
As I explained about 5 minutes ago, the governor asked us to keep track of our resources, our expenditures, so he can reimburse us.
So do you believe?
And as the sheriff explained to you, for now we're going with the Stone Garden grant, so it won't cost the county taxpayers any money.
I understand.
Okay.
But when that money runs out, do you anticipate going to the contingent and uncommitted fund?
I have no idea, sir. What I do know is that we can't allow hundreds and hundreds of illegals to come in and pillage our county. And we will do, the sheriff will do, whatever is necessary to make that happen. If you have any other points of law, I'll be happy to listen to them.
No, I'm just wondering what your definition of that is.
Okay, well, you heard it. All right. The sheriff will add to that.
No, I do want to add, because you bring up a point there. I will tell you that I will not go and ask for any uncommitted funds from the county, just so you know, so all of you know, because I can understand how that would become a concern for the governing body. But no, we're going to utilize our grant funding, and if we have to, we'll utilize what's in our budget. I will not come to you and ask for money that you have set aside somewhere else. I believe that barring the town starting to burn down, that would be irresponsible of me, and I will not do it, just so y'all know. Okay? Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Gentlemen, what do you want to do?
There's a motion on the floor.
There's a motion on the floor to approve this so that we can move on.
I'd like to amend the motion on paragraph 8 to strike out county judge and put commissioner's court.
This is a county judge function, sir. The
Why do
county
we
judge
have to
is the one that
ratify it
makes
if
those-
we're not involved?
Mr. Commissioner,
I don't get that
Commissioner
part.
Bruns, we're
What,
not going to discuss this.
so why do
It's
you
not
even
a committee
ratify it?
thing.
Why do you even bring it to court if we're not involved? I don't get that. If we can ratify this, that means the court is involved.
Right.
Otherwise, you could just.
But it also gives me the option, if you choose not to make the decision, I'll just reissue a declaration every 7 days, as your esteemed counselor has agreed with me.
And there again,
So
I've said I am not against the declaration. I am against the 8th paragraph.
Okay. Duly noted.
Well, then,
So if y'all,
Got to be a second, Judge. There's no.
I'll second that motion.
Okay.
All in favor of ratifying this, say aye.
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 Without the amendment?
We have 3 ayes.
Without the amendment?
Without the amendment. The amendment was, you don't get to amend his motion. And
Why
he's-
not?
Because he didn't want his motion amended, sir. Why is that funny?
And you never took any parliamentary procedure.
I'm sorry?
You never took parliamentary procedure. You know, we're not part of this court, so you know what? Goliad, we got a problem.
They could ask for nays, sir.
Okay, the motion carries.
Ask for the nays, Judge.
Sir?
Point of order. Point of order, Judge. Judge,
No, sir, that's not true.
point of order, ask for the nays. You got 3 for.
All opposed?
Nay,
You're opposed?
yes.
Okay, I have 1 no and 3 for.
Thank you, Judge.
And the last thing is Commissioner Edwards discussed action regarding window repair on the remaining windows on the county annex.
Yes, sir, we started cleaning doing all the windows on the annex, and after looking at all of them, they're all in the same shape as the first half that we did. We still got more cracked windows and a lot of rust. While we've got the guy there and he's got his templates made, he can do the rest of them. I've got a bid here, I think it's in y'all's packet, and I'd like to see us go ahead and proceed.
Excuse me, Mr. Christopher? Mr. Christopher? Mr. Christopher? Mr. Christopher? You can have your discussion outside, or you can wait until court's over. Thank you. Go ahead, I'm sorry he interrupted you.
I'd like to see us go ahead and complete that. I mean, as commissioners, we're responsible for the county's assets, and, you know, I mean, we've been negligent on taking care of this for quite a while, and we've gotten started. I'd like to go on and finish the job. So I'd make a motion that we complete the windows. I think it's 21 more windows we have to replace.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Does anyone have any public announcements they would like to make tonight? If not, I need a motion to adjourn, please.
To adjourn.
Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We are adjourned.